Hey guys, if you like this content, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys like the video and subscribed to my channel. It helps make these videos worth it going forward. What's up guys, Altcoin Sherpa here with a crypto market review. As always, this is not financial advice. I am not an expert, do your own research. Okay, so today I will be reviewing Ethereum. I think that ETH actually looks like a pretty okay chart. It looks okay in the short term, and I think that it looks like it might be forming some sort of bottom. So let's take a look at some levels here. This is ETH USD on the weekly here. Obviously the all-time high level, former all-time high level back in January of 2018. Price is now trading below it. Price also tapped some of these, the weekly high back in February of 2018 as well. This was a bearish retest. And price has also been hitting this this weekly close as well in February, this $1,050 level. So I mean, I think that psychologically everything around $1,000 to $1,050 or so, that kind of area is probably going to be tapped and interacted with a lot. It's similar to Bitcoin and the $20,000 level, just because that's an area that has been, former all-time high level. Those are areas that price is interacting with quite a bit. But the reason why I think that it looks like it's a temporary short-term bottom, at least, is that you're actually seeing some defense of this level. And what I mean by that is you're actually seeing some weekly closes that are green. And it's quite simple. Like, people are just really bidding the all-time high level, the former all-time high level. Bitcoin 20,000, ETH 1,000. It's very simple. It's like very almost like it's like a very simple but easy psychological level, and it's showing that price looks to have found some sort of temporary bottom here, around $1,000. Now, am I saying this is like the overall macro bottom? Probably not. I wouldn't be surprised at all to see like ETH go to like some of these lower levels, like ETH to like $500, certainly possible if the market dumps again. Look at July of 2018, price still couldn't trade above that until like the end of 2020. So, price traded underneath that level for many months and years. And I don't actually know, price could certainly hit this if macro shits the bed. But again, there are a lot of levels between there and now. But basically what I'm trying to say is that it looks like price is forming a temporary bottom on the weekly chart. You are seeing some buying around this, a lot of interaction with price at the current level. Scroll down to lower time frames. I mean, it's quite simple to me as well that price looks like it's just formed an overall range. You can mark it pretty simply as well with the range highs and range lows. And you can also distinguish the range lows in two different ways, in my opinion. Usually when you see a long wick when price is forming the bottom. So when you see something like this where price goes, nukes lower, and then like you'll see it make like this long high and then like this low, price will usually form a range from these highs and lows. So you'll see something like this. And this is something similar to what we saw back in the middle of June, where price, had that big dump from, I don't know, what was it? Yeah, 2K to 1K or even lower. And usually you'll see price trade within this range after it gets established, generally speaking. So as I said, there are a few different ways that you can mark that at range highs and lows. You can make the argument that this would be like the range low here because this was the first kind of interaction spot right here. But there's also a lot of arguments for making this range low at the bottom as well. And I do think that price is eventually going to get to that level eventually. I just don't know what or where it's going to be, or what it's going to look like. For now, you can actually mark this range low here just because price has interacted with this level a few times. And if you really want to kind of start taking some trades, you'll want to see price trade above this EQ, the equilibrium of the range here, the 0.5. So you'll want to see it break it, retest, and maybe go back to the range highs again. And this should be, again, another good short opportunity. These are weird trading environments, though. People will start to like long the breakouts, and they'll get fucked up. Again, you'll see these areas tapped on both sides several times. So you've seen this support area get tapped several times, and you've seen this resistance area get tapped several times. So I think liquidity is getting drawn out on both sides, and people are just going to lose a lot of money in this overall range. But I think for now, you'll want to see price break the EQ of this current range right here, and then go back to the highs. But as I said before, I feel pretty confident that, similar to Bitcoin, I think that we're going to see price eventually trade to the lows again, like the $800 level, 850 or whatever. I just think it makes too much sense, and there's too much liquidity down below. So I think that it wouldn't surprise me at all to see something like, price eventually going to this level. I just don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe we see price trade above and go back up to the range highs, and then start dumping again, and then break below. Maybe it just rejects right now and just starts having a shitty bounce at $1,000, and then it goes lower now. There's all sorts of different scenarios for when or how this kind of gets there, and I don't know what it's going to look like, but I do believe that these lows will get tapped eventually. As I said though before, I don't know what it's going to look like. I just think that these lows, it just makes too much sense. But as of right now, on higher time frame charts, it does look like it's forming a short-term bottom, in my opinion. Again, as I said, just because there is some defense of this level. This $1,000 level. If we were to try to start to make try to mark some areas of support of where price could go, I think that you can maybe mark this kind of weekly level here. Price paused here at the early part of 2021, came back, retested that level, this kind of $1,400 level. I think it's quite possible that price, if it does have the strength and it does chop around for a little while longer, I think it's certainly possible that price can get up to that area, and even as high as something like $2,000 should eventually come. But again, I don't know what it's going to look like or how it's going to get there. I do think that there will be a significant bear market rally. I mean, if you saw back before, price went from 2,000 all the way up to 3,500. This is a pretty decent run, and I think there will be some sort of lower high that comes. But it's also important to really check yourself and check your emotions during these times, because when price starts to make this lower high, you're going to think, oh my God, this is reversing. This is going to recover all the way. But in reality, what's going to happen is it's maybe it gets up to 2,000, probably not, and then it's just probably going to go even lower. So the overall high time frame trend is still very bearish until shown otherwise. This has just been nothing but lower highs and lower lows. All across the board. The only way that you could really consider this to potentially break market structure is really just when you see higher highs and higher lows. And the last time that we potentially flirted with that idea was back in kind of this March-April area, where price hit a high and hit several lows and some higher lows as well, and then it hit a higher high. So, at this point, you could maybe argue bullish market structure. But once these lows got lost, right around this $2,400 level, and especially this $2,300 level, so right when price broke here, this, in my opinion, was kind of the ultimate sign that price lost market structure and was going to make a lower low. And obviously, we know what happened next is price just traded there and then nuked another leg down. So, as I said, you could maybe make arguments of higher high and higher low back in kind of this February, March, April time period. But once price lost that low, then I think that that's when I de-risk a lot of coins myself, was just because I thought that it was just a bearish market structure at that point. It's just continuing the trend. So until you start to see something some sort of high, low, and then it breaks that high, and then it, like, you know, until you start to see something like this, then I don't think you can really make an argument for like a bullish market structure. It just seems very far away. But in the short term, this does to me look like some sort of accumulation on higher time frame charts. Again, just from the simple standpoint of it being a interactive level of $1,000, and you know, volume exchange by exchange is going to be very, very different. But like we did see a lot of high sell volume overall in this big leg down, and a lot of buying as well. So I think that it makes sense that price would make some sort of like lower high. Like, to me, it makes sense that price would do, like, you know, some trade above, and then like makes this move up to $2,000 or something like that, and then potentially just going low. But as I said, I still believe that the 850 area is going to get tapped again, and I don't know what or when it's going to look like, but those are definitely some thoughts that I have on the lows for Ethereum. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for the support, and cheers.